It's coming?
Not it, sir. Only the people are joined, but that screen is there. Our not it, sir.
Yeah, now it is there.
Only the people are joined, but that screen is there. Our
Now it is stream is on. Yeah, now it is there. Now it is stream is on.
It came, sir? Okay, sir, we'll start it.
Start. Madam, start change, madam.
It came, sir?
Padmaja madam.
Okay, sir, we'll start it.
Padmaja, start change.
A very good morning to all the dignitaries and the participants of today's session. Thank you for joining us in the today's session webinar. I am Padmaja, Assistant Professor at MCI Department. Very today, the MCI Department of SITAMS is organizing a webinar on full stack web development, which will be presented by Mr. Ramesh Garu. I am Senior Assistant Professor at MCI. The MCI Department of SITAMS is organizing a webinar on full stack web development, which will be presented by Mr. Ramesh Garu. I'm Senior Assistant on full stack web development, which will be presented by Mr. Ramesh Garu. I'm Senior Sir,
Ma'am, voice is not very low, ma'am. Voice is very low.
shall I continue, ma'am?
Yes. You continue, ma'am.
Okay. A very good morning to all the dignitaries and the participants of today's session. Thank you for joining us in today's webinar. I am Padmaja, Assistant Professor at MCI Department SITAMS. Today, the MCI Department of SITAMS is organizing a webinar on full stack web development, which will be presented by Mr. Ramesh Garu, Senior Architect at DHL. Full stack web development is a process of web development from scratch to deployment with the domain name. You will be introduced how to develop professional website from scratch through this interactive hands-on session. This will be a very good start for aspiring web developers. Now I request Mr. M. E. Palnivelu Garu, Professor, to welcome our dignitaries and all the participants.
I am M.E. Palanivel, Professor, MCA Department, and extremely delighted and extend a wholehearted welcome to today's one-day webinar on full stack Java development. On behalf of MCA Department, Srinivasa Institute of Technology and Management Studies Autonomous, I am delighted to welcome Dr. P. Ramesh Kumar Garu, Principal, Dr. S. Srikanth Garu, Vice Principal and HOD, and today's resource person, Mr. V. Ramesh, Senior Architect, DHL, Malaysia. And now I warmly welcome all the faculty members and the participants on this morning to the one-day webinar on 24/6/2020. I am very much thankful to the management, principal, HOD to given this opportunity. I request all the participants to enjoy the technical session. Thank you one and all.
Now I request our college principal, Dr. P. Ramesh Kumar Garu, to speak few words on this occasion. Please, sir.
సారు ఇప్పుడు అడ్మిట్ ఇచ్చినాను సార్ బయట పోయినట్టుంది వస్తారు మేడం వెయిట్ చేయండి
Ma'am, you again request
మేడం
our
ఇంకొకసారి
principal
చెప్పండి
sir.
మేడం ప్రిన్సిపల్
sir.
సార్ జస్ట్ నౌ జాయిన్డ్
Now I request our college principal, Dr. P. Ramesh Kumar Garu, to speak few words on this session.
Good morning to all of you. So it's my pleasure to invite you all for this one day's webinar organized by Department of MCA and Computer Science in association with Computer Science. I request all the participants to utilize this opportunity and get some knowledge of it. And I invite Mr. Ramesh also today's keynote speaker for this one. So on behalf of management of University of Technical Management Studies, I welcome you, sir. Please have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our MCA department HOD, Dr. S. Srikanth Garu, to speak few words about this session, sir.
Good morning, one and all. On behalf of SITAMS, we welcome you to this one-day webinar. I am Dr. Srikanth, HOD of MCA. On this occasion, I want to share a few points about our department. MCA is now a 2-year professional master's degree designed to meet the growing demands for a qualified professionals in the field of information technology. MCA program is inclined more towards application development and thus has more emphasis on the latest programming languages and tools to develop better and faster applications. Unfortunately, because of the global pandemic and consequent lockdown, the entire higher education has badly disturbed. In this type of situation, e-learning with webinar have emerged effective option for both students and teachers. Webinar helps you stay updated and feel connected with the subject. They allow us to share and learn knowledge virtually. They are highly interactive forms to spread unusual, useful knowledge, and we are much benefited with the lockdown learning webinars. A full stack web developers, a person who can develop both client and server softwares. In this topic, our resource person Ramesh will guide you in detail. I hope everyone use this occasion and get benefited. Thank you, one and all.
Sir,
Hello.
Mr. J. Sheikh Mohammed Garu, Assistant
Hello.
Professor, is here to give us a brief introduction about today's presenter,
Hello.
Mr. Ramesh Garu.
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Yeah. Good morning, one and all. This is Sheikh Mohammed, Assistant Professor in MCA Department, SITAMS. So I'm going to introduce about my speaker, that is Mr. Ramesh Garu. So he is working as a senior architect in DHL, Malaysia, and already he has worked in various companies like TCS and CTS. Past experience in IT sector, and he is owning his own company. So he is having lot of research focus on various technologies. So I think all the participants can enjoy this full session, that is a full stack web developer. I welcome Mr. Ramesh to give the session. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you, sir. Now I request today's presenter, Mr. Ramesh Garu, to continue the session. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for attending this session. I hope you will enjoy my talk on the topic of full stack web developer. Before I start this session, let me share a few words.
Ramesh sir, unmute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Before we really get into the tech topic, I request you all, we know about the pandemic happening everywhere in the world. I request you, please maintain social distance, stay at home, and be hygienious, safe from, interacting others. I just give you one example. What happened I'm living in Malaysia, and I'm living in a condominium where we have a 25 floors, just 3 floors down our stair. We had one of the cases, like person is infected with COVID-19. It just is probably not more than 100 meters or 100 feet. If I go 3 floors down, I probably directly interact with them. Though we had such a case, but not even a single other person infected with the COVID, because such precautions were taken by the people and taken by the government, and it is made possible today in Malaysia. Only every day we see that 3 new COVID cases, 4, 5. That is how it's happening. It's made possible only the discipline that people are following. So I request you, everyone, please maintain such a distance and keep yourself as possible as at home, and be healthy. Okay, now let me go to the tech topic. Full stack web developer is a very buzzword in market today. So it is not limited to small companies or medium, but the tech giants like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Flipkart. What they are talking about is, we want a programmer who is a full stack developer, especially the people who works on web enabled technology. They say that we want a full stack web developer. So while preparing for this session, I have done little research, and to give you guys a good content, very good content, not only the concept, but what is happening in a real time world. So when I browse through the job opportunities for various top organizations, many companies are posting a requirement that we want a full stack web developer. Yeah. So with that focus, and with the management of SITAMS and MCA department, we believe that this session will help you to create a foundation for your tech journey. Yeah. Okay. And in agenda for today's session is I talk a little bit background of software engineer and those roles. Then we talk about what is a web stack. Then we go to who is a full stack web developer. Then a technology stack for a web developer. So when you are a full stack web developer, what are the handful of technology stack or a handful of technologies that you must be aware and to know? And go to the popular full stack. What's a very popular full stack? Yeah. Then we talk about what's the basic roles and responsibilities of a full stack web developer. So then we go to, I have done some research and surveying. These surveys conducted by Stack Overflow, which is one of the largest developer programmer community in the world with the 15 million users actively using the Stack Overflow. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about what the research is all about. Okay, now we go to the little background about software engineers and their roles. The moment we say software engineer or IT programmer, the roles comes to our mind is developer who knows a programming languages, who is comfortable in creating a piece of logic using a programming language and have a knowledge in database systems and able to operate data in terms of storing or retrieving and presenting using SQL. So there are front-end developers, there are back-end developers, and fairly we talk about scripting languages. So these days almost the whole world is going towards JavaScript, but there was a VB script as well in the past. So these VB script was mostly used in primarily in .NET technologies and some of the testing tools. People use a VB script for scripting the test cases. Then the other side, right? There are another type of software engineers or software engineering roles aside the programmers. They are the testers. So who ensures quality of a product? Yeah, quality of application, and who identifies the possible bottlenecks, possible bugs, and the fix and make it ready for users to enjoy the quality of the product is delivered by whatever is the organization. So what they do is they pretty much, even we are in 2020 with a lot of innovation and technology, we still have a lot of jobs for manual testing. There are people who use a manual testing as one of the primary testing technology or approach. And there are automations, and there are performance tests, there are black box, white box tests, and there are product tests. So there are plenty of job opportunities for these areas as well. For example, we are talking about Oracle database, right? So anyone creates an application, stores data in Oracle database is just about the application. But when you look at how Oracle database is performing, how it works for its structures, it is the product testers. They do that testing. Yeah. So we talk about software engineers of developers, testers, and what other role in software engineering is the support stream. So in a support stream for every product, in order to maintain a quality and provide the services for every company, they must have a strong support backbone. So plenty of software engineers, I would say that even more than 10 or 15% of the software engineers, they work in the support industry. So they work as a support members, they work in operations, they maintain the platform, they do support the product. The product is not necessarily like Oracle kind of product, but if you say that, our social media, those are the products. We are using a Zoom is a product. So there are product support teams, and those teams are called L3. L3 stands for expert in such a field. So it goes that level 1, level 2, and level 3. So many software engineers work in the back or background in L3 streams. So along with that, if you see the networks and infrastructure, this is also a backbone. Without the layer of operating systems and network, you don't have anything called internet. Yeah, internet or web. So the people who work in networks and infrastructure, they are specialized in different technologies. So if you see this developer, tested and support, where is a full stack web developer? Yeah, I'm sure it is falling under developers category, but what is a very specific skills and the roles they play? We will walk through. So if you see this, the software engineer who is a developer, their primary focus area is a front end development. These people are called front end developers. What front end developers do, they create a presentation layer, so which is used, experienced by the users. So it's not limited to Zoom like applications, but majorly when we talk about front end, predominantly in these days we are talking about mobile apps plus web. So the team who is behind creating such a stunning user interface, interactions, and the events, the animations, whatever feel, use experience by accessing an application, right? They are the front end developers. So that's the front end team, very specialized team, and capable of understanding the user patterns, user behavior, and they know what user actions, and they know how to present the data, nicer dashboards with the graphs, with the right color coding, with the right texture, right font. So who organizes? They are the front end developers. And if we go to the next stream, right, they are the back end developers. So these backend developers are one who works primarily on the programming languages. For example, in today's case, the topmost programming language that everyone is talking about is a Python, Java, C++, and many more. So when it comes to web technology, people talk about PHP as predominantly dominating this backend world. So what they do is they use the programming languages to create a data structure. They process the data. They apply algorithms in a way that they can produce the relevant content to users and make user accessing their content seamlessly. So this is the special stream, and the majority of the software engineers fall in this category. So the third one is, in a web layer, or if you say that anything on the web and web related, it is the database. So you have front end, back end, database. So who are the developers work in a back end, and what do they do? This team is a very specialized, understanding the data structure, know the data modeling, and knows how to organize, create logical relations, and they are able to extract any piece of content from anywhere, of a stack of millions of records, stored in the database. So this team is very specialized, but what they do is it's more than a programming. They work on the performance improvement. We cannot wait, minutes for fetching our record. The moment you tap on a mobile device, you just scroll it, you are accessing hundreds of queries which are being executed in the backend. So this is the team they work predominantly on creating such a quality content and able to provide. Um, they are the one who provides you the content, and backend team who interprets the content and pass it to the you front end team. But front end team take the data, they less worry about the data. They focus on presenting the data in a nice fashion that it creates a great sense to users. For example, I'm talking about a statistical report. If I present that report in a simple table, or if I present that report in a graph, it makes a lot of difference. We don't understand data, we use statistical data from the tables. But when you plot that into graphs, it's easily comparable. So what the front end team does is they use the algorithms to provide such quality presentation. So, and if you see this, we cannot escape from any of these technologies if you are in a tech industry. However, if we go to the web stack, I'm going to cover the entire web stack. So we just talk about the three dominant roles in the software industry. Then we talk about web technology. The predominant three roles are three type of software engineers. And now we are talking about what is the technology stack to build a website, to build a web application, or even to build a mobile app. I'm not talking much about a mobile app today, yeah, but it's the same as like creating a web application. So as I already said that the first one is creating a user experience, the front end. This layer plays a vital role in a web development. So if you really see in latest trends in the technology and the users, they are the pioneers of using the technologies like JavaScript. When I say that JavaScript as a technology, it looks like no, we already know the JavaScript, but what we know what level of JavaScript used in a real world is uncomparable. Almost 99% of web is purely dependent on JavaScript. One thing which is driving what driving this the web is a JavaScript. Yeah. So JavaScript is a common across all the technology. And no matter your backend is in Java, your backend is in Python, or backend is in PHP. So that's the power. We will go further details, and look at that in a front end. There is some aspect of it is now you open a website in your mobile, open a website in a desktop or a PC. It is very well structured. But if you talk about this about 5 to 8 years back, not too far, there is a note. It says that this website is best viewed in 1200/800 pixel. You don't have such notes there. What is bringing this is it's the Bootstrap, one of the most powerful web presentation technology developed by Twitter. So what front-end developer uses a Bootstrap. So we will further talk about details of what technologies used in which stack. The next stack here is web server. Foundation for any web application to host is the web server. You need to create a piece of code, deploy that piece of code into web server. Yeah. So it goes to the web server, and majorly we talk about a web service. There are not hundreds of softwares available. Yeah, very few. Or I will say that if I need to count, there are not more than 3-4 web servers, which are very popular. And I would say that 90% of the web is using those 2-3 web servers. So look at this, like your Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, Google. They have created such intelligent systems, and even they have built a lot of technologies. We will talk about those, but still they are using only those 2-3 web servers. So students, like, if you are comfortable, familiar with these web servers, and you are there, you can even code for Facebook, and you can even code for Amazon. Yeah. So I go to the next stack is the backend. So in a backend is the programming languages and the frameworks. So especially if you create a product, in which is used by intranet or internal users between the applications, you use dominantly programming languages. But when you say it is a web application, you are completely relying on frameworks. Without the frameworks, there is almost nothing we can do in today's fast moving web development. So you follow a framework, and your development cost and your development time would be reduced by at least 70%. At the same time, not only the cost and time, it reduces number of possible human errors. It reduces possible design mistakes, because there is a standard baseline design. You just need to follow that. So it's the other one is the frameworks. Next, to go to I have front end piece of code, back end piece of code, and I need to create a build and deploy that build into web server, right? That's the fourth one, is build tools and version control. If you look at what's happening, in Amazon, Facebook, or Flipkart, right? I'm just taking these examples. They are deploying changes, improvements every minute. Have you ever noticed that Facebook or Amazon or Flipkart, those websites are down? Have you ever noticed that though there's nothing changed in their website? Maybe they don't change the outer look, but they constantly create a deployments and constantly deploy. That's why they are able to catch the user trend and user behavior, and they know, like, there's some new product is coming, and how the user behave about that new products. They know, because once they know, they need to create a piece of software to handle such responses. So they need to have a continuous deployment tools plus version control. So it's a very important that when any student or a software engineer said to be a full stack developer, so they are the one doing this, should know version control and the build tools. And the next one is web services. If you look at the evolution of the websites and the mobile apps, especially, last 6 to 8 years, what you see is everything is a mobile app. Every single service is in a mobile app. How that is possible when we were completely relying on websites, maybe which are not responsive and takes time to, fetch you data, wait for it, streaming, loading. I think you probably don't see any website says that still loading. That's gone. Reason is that the web and software design is changed. Every software, especially when it comes to web, it is designed in a way that every function or a piece of logic or a service used by the users is created as a web service. Anything that you are logging in, it's a web service. You do log out, it's a web service. You are accessing a particular link, it is a web service. You are making a transaction, it's a plenty of web services. Anything on your website, anything on your mobile, you are just clicking something, you see new screen coming, you are making a call to web service, it produces you or it provides you a content. This is only made possible with the adoption of REST. So REST is one of the web services types. You have a SOAP and a REST. So with this, the tech industry, what they do is they create one web service. That web service is used by your website plus mobile app. Yeah. So now go to the database. Database is not new. Why are we talking about database now? But it is a one of the stacks in your web application. Anything in this world is a data. Without data, these Facebook, Google, or even your YouTube has no meaning. We are going to Google only to browse data. There is nothing more than that. We don't want anything from Google. We just ask Google, can you give me data for this? But we ask Google that, okay, who is a famous personality in this particular stream? You think that you are searching for it, but you are asking them to answer your query that, okay, give more data which is matching this context. So they're providing data to you. So everything in a tech is a data. So how this data is different earlier and now is it's the NoSQL. The evolution of NoSQL, moving all these companies from traditional database, which are like Oracle database, MySQL, MS SQL Server. These are the very traditional 30 years, 35 years, 25 years old old systems, carrying the legacy. But with the new introduction of NoSQL databases, the game is completely changed. So you just click, you click on one person's profile in Facebook, or you click on somebody's profile in a LinkedIn, you are almost extracting everything about that profile. It's not the one name, but I'm just trying to compare, like about 10 years back, you only get some piece of information, but we don't see, it is not visible on the user interface. You go to Amazon service, Amazon website, trying to search for a product. They are not only giving you the product, but by the time you search, it gives the product rating, product specifications, the images and the relevant products for this one, the user reviews. So how it is possible? If you see this in a traditional programming languages, it is you need to query the table 1, table 2, table 3, like a 200 tables. It's not going to work. These 200 tables take a longer time to respond and provide you a response back. But with introduction of NoSQL database, happened sometime like a decade ago, everything is changed. Yeah. So we will browse through some of the popular databases in that stream. Okay, so here you see is the full stack web development. Full stack web developer is a person or a professional, know and have hands-on every aspect of the web technology or this web stack. So whereas some other roles, if somebody is a front-end developer, they work absolutely only on the front end. Back-end developers work absolutely on the back end. And we have a DBAs, database programmers, they only work on a database. And the other side is also web service, also backend team. They create plenty of web services, especially if you talk about web service of type SOAP, a huge processing is sitting behind. So this is a web service. Of course, every software engineer, they use a version control, but what's the difference is the build tools. I will show you some of the build tools, how it changed the game. So in one line, a full stack web developer is jack of all trades. I think now we are entering to mostly focus on the full stack web developer, which is our today's agenda, okay, or title of this session. Full stack web developer is a jack of all trades, knows every technology tool stack in web application development. So if we define full stack developer is I would read this way: a full stack web developer is a professional who is familiar with all layers of software technology stack for web. So, but if you remove web from this title, full stack developer, it's altogether a different role. But if you see that the primarily the more job opportunities are demanding for full stack web developer. Yeah. So and the full stack developer, he/she may not be an expert in every technology stack, but having a good hands-on and possesses a fair knowledge in every implementation of web application and solutions. So this is the big difference from front-end developer to full stack developer. The big difference from back-end developers to full stack developers. This is the team who works on end-to-end cycle of web development, but they are not the expert. So there are the expert team sitting behind, but they are working in a limited to their scope. But if you go to some small companies, majorly the drivers are the full stack web developers. But if you talk about job opportunities in US, and the salary is highly paid for the full stack web developers. So they have a hands-on on latest web technologies. They are familiar with the development, testing, and the deployment process. So what it means is the latest technology and how it is different from the front-end developers and back-end developers is that if somebody is said full stack web developer, they are the very active on internet. They explore every new technology. You go to talk to people from having background full stack development, and other one is a backend developers. The big difference you see that backend developers say that, yeah, we are coding it is in a Python, and we are coding it in Java. You ask them, when did you start, and when are you doing it right now? They say that for last 10 years I'm coding in Java. Last 15 years I'm coding in Java. Last 10 years I'm coding in a Python. Maybe I'm an ASP developer. That is how they identify. But when it comes to full stack developer, this is altogether very different, because unless you keep yourself up to date on latest technologies, catching the speed of handling end-to-end of web application development is not possible. For example, we say that about 10 years back or 5 years back, if you look at the coding editors that you use, and today you probably using the same name like Eclipse, NetBeans, IntelliJ, even these are the popular IDEs. But if you look at these functionalities, it's absolutely a altogether different product. But it's just they are carrying the only new names. The reason is that you have such advancement in these technologies, and your tools should support such advancement. So that's why the full stack web developers, they upgrade their skill set very often. So you go on to talk to somebody from full stack development background, they said that yes, if you see their resume, in 3 months time, 6 months time, they will show that I have added a new skill. Is it very tough to learn such a skill? It is not, because you are not looking for mastery, but you are looking for a handful of knowledge using which you can create the functionalities required. And these new technologies is not so rigid. They are so flexible, and you follow certain type of a tutorial offered by them. In a week time, you know how to deal with this particular software. But unlike previous cases, learning Java is about a 1 year journey, 6 months journey. Yeah. But with this advancement and the type of supporting tools, especially the version controlling systems, especially the build tools, it really simplifies a lot, enabling a software programmer who is a developer to efficiently perform, not limited to one area of the technology. Maybe I repeat it again, right? How a full stack developer capable of handling a dozen plus technologies as a single person, whereas it takes about 6 to 7 people to do coding for that particular piece of thing. The difference is that the technology, these technologies are advanced, and those are pretty simple to learn, easy to learn. And I am talking about another point here. See, like the full stack web developers have a fair knowledge in open sources. This is the one big difference. And if you go to open source, almost you want a piece of logic, somebody has already created it. You can straight away inject that piece of code and using it. That is why full stack developers are very, very efficient and able to deliver a large amount of work in a short period of time. Unless they explore, they upgrade this technology, it is not possible. So let us see if you want to be a full stack developer, to able to perform all the roles and aspect of this development, deployment, and build. What do you need to know? Yeah, let's go to the actuals, from the theory. What I need to know, or what I need to learn to become a full stack developer. Why I'm looking for this particular opportunity is that there's a huge demand in IT today for full stack developers. Yeah. So first we will start with front-end technology. The front-end technology are again, we said about the presentation. The first and the foundation you should be familiar with and should be very strong, no doubt. Though you are a full stack developer, but in a front-end technology like HTML. Yeah, HTML is a foundation for the front-end technology. It's the skeleton of any web application. So the HTML, if you see today with the introduction of HTML5, it performs a lot pretty advanced functions than few years back. With the introduction of Canvas, able to render SVG images, able to process huge data sets, and with a great interaction with the CSS. So the HTML plays a vital role for anyone to perform efficiently in web development. It's easy to learn. The most easiest language in the world for software engineers is HTML. It takes maybe a day or two, or maximum a week, to cover HTML. So spend a good amount of time learning HTML. And the second one is a JavaScript. If I already said that 99% of web, 99% of the web and websites are only driven by JavaScript. If you go to Facebook, what is there is nothing but JavaScript. There is nothing else in a Facebook. I'm talking about you go to open your laptop or PC. Mobile application is a slightly different. Even mobile application too is you open a PC that anything you see on Facebook, or you go on the search in Amazon, Flipkart, anything you see on their website is JavaScript. Everything is a JavaScript. Even I'm talking about HTML. HTML is a skeleton. Even today, with the new frameworks, we are rendering HTML using a JavaScript. That means you write HTML inside a JavaScript. But the traditional programming languages are HTML is our base structure, and you write only less than 1%, 2% of JavaScript code to handle the events. That is the past. The current is you have a 1%, 2% of HTML code, rest is a JavaScript. So followed by JavaScript, what comes is a cascading style sheets. See, it's like a human with a skeleton able to move, function without a skin. How does it look like? You can't differentiate which skeleton is what. The web looks like that without a CSS. So any color, the animation, and the responsiveness you see on web is a CSS, cascading style sheet. So learning cascading style sheets is kind of very encouraging journey. It takes about a month to learn a cascading style sheets base. But if you see in a cascading style sheet also, there are advancements. So those are called LCSS, SCSS. So these new cascading style sheet enhancements provide some level of reusability and declaring and controlling, limiting the number of lines of code, because you open any website, everything that you see in a browser is downloaded into browser, be it HTML code and CSS, JavaScript, everything is downloaded into browser. That's the job of web server. Web server sends all the JavaScript required for anything that you view, sent to your laptop or PC. There, browser start rendering all the piece of code and show you user interface. Nothing more than that. So these three are the fundamental. You want to become a front-end developer or full stack developer is a mandatory. The second one is a jQuery. I have some interesting numbers to show you guys later slides. Yeah. So jQuery is enhanced way of handling JavaScript. So it reduces number of lines you need to write to achieve a certain functionality in JavaScript. So it's a kind of, you could say like that, a wrapper. They have created a lot of built-in functions. You can use those built-in functions in order to achieve same thing with the JavaScript. This is a popular choice for JavaScript. And the next one is a Bootstrap. This is to see that it's not a big topic. But if you, when you see this, horizontal, it's not a big topic. But when you go vertical, dig in deep, exploring each technology, it's a vast. Yeah. So that's why becoming a full stack developer is really easy. Easy in a month's time. You can really become a full stack web developer. In a month's time, 6 months time, 1 year time, you can target and you can become a very knowledgeable web stack developer because you are not mastering everything. So this bootstrap is created by Twitter. Thankfully, you open a website in mobile app, in a mobile and desktop. It will adjust automatically for every size of the screen. So these are the basics: HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, and Bootstrap. But if you know in today, you being the, I'm not sure like which year you are studying in, but if you are going out, the one skill you must add to your profile is one of these 3 popular frameworks, which is Angular or React, or third one is a Vue. So now when I say that the Angular or React or Vue changed the way you write the web programming from writing everything in a HTML to writing everything in a JavaScript. But the same piece of code you write using a plain JavaScript, and to achieve the same functionality, you use, for example, React. You may be writing, say, like 300 lines, 500 lines of code. But if you write that, plain JavaScript, it becomes a 5,000 lines of code, at least. Think about it, right? How somebody can efficiently handling multiple technologies is that you are writing the same 300 lines of code. It's not more than that. But what you see outcome is the same amount of 5,000 lines code what you get. So add these to your tech stack. Angular JS or Angular and React Vue. So just adding to that, Angular is developed by Google. React is developed by Facebook. I just add 2 more points also. If you think about these Angular and React, say about I think 2014 Angular and Angular was introduced. React was even late. So there was no Angular about 6-7 years back, which is known to people like you and me. But Google already using Angular. They are using Angular. That's why they are able to provide such a quality application. I'm not talking only about a Google search, yeah, but they have a lot of products. So in every product they are using it. So that's why they are performing efficient. Today the technology is given to the open source community. Google gave every single piece of their code and their source code, everything, and even right to open source. You can distribute Angular by yourself. So it's open source. Same, Facebook was also doing that. So they have created a React.js. So they gave it to open source. So think about it. You have such powerful tools which are used by Google and Facebook. and you can learn that in a matter of 6 months. Yeah, I'm not telling that only Angular, but if you are very, very strong in Angular or React, Vue, any of these three technologies, your first interview gives you a job. There's nothing more required. So these are the such powerful technologies, like the whole world is going towards. Okay, I move on to from front-end technologies to web servers. So as I said that earlier, there are no dozens of softwares or products. If you talk about programming languages, at least there are 20 plus popular programming languages, database 20, 30. If you talk about product, there are thousands of products. For example, company like us, we use at least 500 products, 500 plus software products. One of that 500 is one of that is Oracle database is a one. Like that, we use a 500 plus products, right? But when it comes to web servers, there are no such a huge set. You have one popular web server is Apache web server. It is called sometimes HTTPD or HTTP web server. So this is the Apache web server. It's a world's most popular web server. And learning Apache web server is basically, if you are a full stack web developer, then it is a matter of you know how to set up, and you know how to configure the user roles, you know how to configure the some kind of routing rules where the website is routed. That's it. You can bring up a website which is in a matter of 30 minutes. If you know these Apache web server, in 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes, you can bring up application. So the same thing is Nginx. Nginx is event-driven web server. Yeah. So what is if you guys are familiar with the threads, yeah, in a threads concept, if you think about it, web server, Apache web server opens a new thread for every request, whereas Nginx, it is not opening a thread, but it creates an event and it managed by the events. Yeah. So do you know that where is the Facebook running? Facebook is running in Nginx server, and this is an open source. If you see that where is the Flipkart running, it is also running in Nginx. If you see where is the YouTube running, maybe it is running in a Apache web server. But these two are the servers which provide front-end facing. These are not running the actual piece of code what runs in the backend. Backend piece of code is running in a application servers. So when we talk about a full stack web developer, you being a web developer, you don't worry about what is running in an application server. Yeah. So very small portion of Microsoft IIS. So this is used for .NET. And Linux is not a web server. Linux is an operating system. The backbone for web servers. 95% of any website, any web application, you see, including mobile apps. Yeah, I'm not talking about the mobile app user interface. Mobile app user interface is running in your mobile phone. But mobile app, the web services backend is running in Linux. 95% of the websites in the world are only on Linux. I'm not talking about Unix. only on Linux. Also, the Linux is not in a very many flavors. Those are very popularly on a free open source Linux, which is a CentOS, and another one is a Ubuntu. So as a full stack web developer, you should know basics of Linux in terms of creating the users, roles, accessing the modules, and able to perform some level of configurations, set up the security, deploy the Apache server. Yeah. So for that, it's a very small portion of Linux you need to learn to become a full stack web developer. If we go to backend technologies, this is the big piece of cake. However, I would not to say that you need to be master in these technologies, except one or two as a full stack developer, but you should be familiar with this technology. So the most popular technology in the world, or most hosted websites in the world, are running in a PHP. You can say that 80% of the websites are in a PHP. Yeah. So PHP with Laravel as a framework, so it enables us to create web applications in a rapid speed. So this is a good combination. And another one is a .NET plus a C# or C# is another backend technology. And the most popular these days is a Node.js. The Node.js plus Express framework. This is the combination majority of the web applications going. If you look at a Shift, for example, we say that how websites, the future websites, where those will be deployed, undoubtedly those will be Node.js plus Express. Yeah. So you want to learn for your career path, go to learn Node.js. You cannot escape from Node.js. Yeah. So then if you see that pretty enterprise grade applications, those are running in a Java plus a Spring framework. Yeah, for web enablement, and another popular choice is the Python. So Python is one of the strong and pretty advanced, has a huge community support. Yeah, is a Python. So Python, you see that there are 4 popular frameworks as a Flask, Pyramid, Django, and Tornado. So maybe I think to me, like Flask is a popular choice with the Python. Yeah. So other side, every time we talk to somebody, they said that oh, the word is Ruby on Rails. Ruby is a programming language, open source programming language, very popular. I think India, we don't use Ruby pretty much, but in other side, Ruby is a programming language used for many websites with the combination of Rails. So, and a new technology that is coming is a Scala with the Play framework. So now a question, you are being a student, you are showing a lot of these things. Where should I start? What's my area of learning curve? I need to see that. If I need to answer one, then I would say that go on to learn Node. Coming to the programming languages, yeah, start learning Python. start learning Java. So that's about the backend. If we go to the next one is a version control and build tools. These version control and build tools, if you know that what's happening these days, there is a kind of monopoly, right? Being a web programmer in a 2020, the one thing you must know is GitHub. Every open source project, every open source project in the world is hosted on GitHub. If you go to GitHub, you will find at least 10 new open source projects coming to GitHub every day, maybe sometimes 100. I'm not talking about a language, right? There are many technologies, many scripts, they are coming to GitHub. So if you are a full stack developer, one thing you should do is you should always, first thing is register there and follow some people. There are influential people who creates open source, follow them. They guide you where the tech industry is going. As a full stack developer, one thing you cannot escape is a GitHub. The second one is a Jenkins. I already said, yeah. So these e-commerce websites, they deploy every minute. You may not believe me that if I say they deploy anytime, even in peak hours also they deploy, because the user, our customer trend, customer mindset is moving very fast. They need to catch that. So Jenkins, you are a developer in 2020. If you don't know Jenkins, then it's not fit for the programmer role. Yeah. So you need to explore Jenkins. The other one is a Maven. Maven is a one point of time, like a 5-6 years back, is a pioneer in a build tool. It is a completely redesign of the build tools. Previous to Maven, there is a build tool called Ant. But with a Maven, that you literally don't need to worry about where are you supporting JAS. You create a Maven POM.xml file, add Maven dependencies. It will go and fetch in from the internet that whatever libraries you need to run that piece of code. You don't need to know. Earlier we used to download a jar file. Earlier we used to download a supporting library and set up the configuration file. And to set up Eclipse with this library, sometimes it takes 1 day, 2 days. For some people, it takes 1 week. Yeah, setup is not easy. After Maven, it's just like copy that 4 lines of XML code and save. Maven will create that build. The same thing is a Gradle also. It's a Gradle. It's very popular these days. So Gradle is not only for Java, for C++, Python. You talk about any programming language, you can create a build using a Gradle. So there are a few more build tools like Grunt, Gulp, But if you follow open source community, GitHub, you come to know. Yeah. So I move on to web services. So the web services is the game changer in enabling a web application. If there is no web service, then there is no web application. As simple as that. Yeah. So web service is not a new thing. We talk about web service 20 years back. That's where the SOAP. So it catch up the speed. Now, in last 10 years, it's not the SOAP who is rolling the world. It's only the REST, a RESTful API, REST web service is the way forward. And if you look at a data interchange format, Earlier, it's only XML. Anything you say that people you say data, they will think that, okay, you are going to provide XML to them. Nowadays, it is not a XML, it is a JSON. So you should know how to create a JSON file. You should know how to change the data structure for JSON, read it. So JSON is a very, very essential. Learning JSON is a day or two job. So the other one is, coming to REST, REST API, RESTful services, SOAP, and you have this also, the microservices. Yeah. So as a full stack developer, you don't need to know pretty in depth, but these are the basics you should understand. The other one is now after REST popular is a Postman. This logo is for Postman logo. Postman is a test tool to test your REST APIs. Simple, period. Widely used. Every developer, they have a Postman installed in their system. At the same time, SOAP UI is a dominant web services testing tool. Is a SOAP UI. So if you look at from this presentation, I have tried to capture the fundamental or basic tools and the technologies you must know as a full stack developer. But there are plenty of other, but this is where you begin with. But if you know one or two points in each stack, then you are called a full stack web developer. So now we move on to the database technology. So the popular database technology for RDBMS is a MySQL and Postgres. Postgre, MySQL are both freeware. These are the open source product. Yeah. If you think about where is the data, unless Facebook kind of social media platforms, for websites, 90% of the websites, those data is sitting in a MySQL or Postgres. So think about it. So you are looking for job opportunities, then you know MySQL, then you have 90% of the chance. Yeah. And the same thing, like, Postgres also, you have 90% of the chance to get a job when you know Postgres. On other side is a NoSQL databases. What I say that the game changer, right? The game changer is the MongoDB. When MongoDB was introduced, it is a complete shift for everyone to think about the data. Earlier, we were thinking, anyone says that some use case, we were thinking data like, okay, maybe how to normalize, how many tables you create, where you create, what is the primary foreign key, what is the dependencies, constraints, all are there. With NoSQL, it's altogether different. But I tell you guys one more thing, especially the MongoDB kind of cases, you don't store data. You are storing data in the form of JSON. You are storing JSON files. So once you know JSON, you know how to access JSON, you know how to use these databases. So these are the you don't use SQL to query this database. Yeah. So Cassandra is open source, is an Apache product, is a free for everyone. It's most popular databases on internet today. And there's a Couch database. Couch database is a graph-based database, whereas a MongoDB, Cassandra, these are the documents. Document meaning you create a JSON file. One JSON file stored in database. Yeah. Then Neo4j. So I think, in the interest of time, let me stop here. So what I can do is I will go back to these slides, show you guys, for a quick glance. So front-end technologies, talking about HTML, JavaScript, CSS, with the add-on as a JavaScript, and for a responsive design, Bootstrap, knowledge in Angular or React or Vue, one of those should be fair enough. With the knowledge of, basic knowledge of configuration and setup of web servers, Apache or Nginx. You don't need to worry about Microsoft IIS. Yeah. So if you know Apache web server, easy to deploy, and basic Linux knowledge in one of these programming language plus framework is a mandatory. Otherwise, you cannot represent, retrieve data. You cannot interact with your user interface. So anyone, but as I said that popular is a Node.js, think about learning Node.js. Is maybe a month learning course, or Python, Java. And build tools, don't forget about GitHub. You are in a technology stack. You must be always, every day accessing GitHub, see what's happening there. And earlier cases that you used to search internet, search user forum, search for some kind of query, or how to fix the errors. With GitHub, there is a piece of code. You just download and use it. You don't need to write that. Earlier you are writing, but you need to fix. You don't know how to fix it. You go to internet. But now in a GitHub, you go to GitHub. They already wrote it. You need to know how to call that, where to use it. It's a free open source. And like JavaScript, like web services, JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Yeah, because you are programming in a JavaScript using a React and a Vue. Of course, Angular case is slightly different. As you are writing your programming in a JavaScript, if you use a JSON, you don't need to handle a data structure differently. It is already pre-built. So as a final recap, the databases. So I'm sure, we cannot escape from MySQL and Postgres. So go through it, but learn one of the NoSQL databases. So now go to the popular full stack. What is a popular full stack? The people themselves, they call that my full stack is a lamp. My full stack is a man or mean stack. They write that a mean stack developer. You don't need to write a full stack web developer having knowledge in XYZ. You don't need to say that, because the whole IT community, they broadly categorize these into three. Yeah, LAMP is into three, giving the perspective of the most used technology. So in a LAMP is you need to know Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. Who are using this? Millions of websites. Millions of the websites. The whole web world is following a LAMP. Yeah. So you can be full stack developer if you know these four technologies. The second one is a collection of JavaScript based technologies. So this is a purely JavaScript. Purely JavaScript. I tell you what I mean purely JavaScript. Yeah, and why JavaScript is a very essential to learn, even beyond the programming language. If you know JavaScript, using a MERN stack, you can create end-to-end application. What we have in the previous circle, web server, you have a front end, back end, deployment tools, web services, right? If you go to man, you are covering with everything with only one programming language, that is a JavaScript. How? MongoDB is just a JSON. It is storing JSON files. JSON file is nothing but JavaScript object notation. Go to the Express. It is called Express.js. It is a framework using which you can interact with your database. You can write queries, extract data, create a business logic, everything you can do in an Express. The other one is a React. It's a user interface. You design the user interface in a React. Then followed by Node.js, where you run this, where you run your Express and React, you run it in a Node.js. That's it. So Facebook is running using only these 4 technologies. Only these 4. There is nothing more than that Facebook is using. And other one is a main stack, is a popular for Google. So it is a MongoDB, Express, Angular, and Node.js. The only front end framework is changed. Facebook uses React, whereas Google uses Angular. So that's why if you are familiar with one of these tools, then you can be a full stack developer. So I think I spend a few minutes here. Then we go to the survey, what is conducted by Stack Overflow. Then we will wind up the session. So what is our role as a full stack web developer? Is a full stack web developer works, translating user requirements into overall architecture and implementation of new systems. Why? Full stack developers handle end-to-end. So they can create a simple standard data, the architecture. They are able to manage and coordinate with the client. So typically, they reduce the dependency on multiple teams. They write backend code either in Ruby, Python, Java, PHP language. Write optimized front-end code in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Yeah. So you are writing this code. When you are doing this, you can say that you are a full stack developer. Understand, create, and debug database related queries. Very basic level. Yeah. And understand the NoSQL also. Create test code to validate applications against the client requirements. So this is what your as a full stack developer, your responsibility. Monitor the performance of web application and infrastructure. This is where it comes knowledge, Linux is very, very essential. At the same time, knowledge in a web server is essential. So there is the team who troubleshoot web applications with a fast, accurate resolution. This is the key for success. Unless you do things fast, you cannot be a full stack web developer. Remember that. Yeah. How can you do it fast? Because there are new technologies, solutions, frameworks available in the IT industry. You start using those technologies, start following that. So how can I do it something fast? I need to create a fancy graph representation. Okay, go to GitHub, download open source called or D3 JavaScript, D3.js, and you input a JSON file to it. That's it. Your graph is ready. If you really go to the experienced full stack web developer, this kind of such great presentation they will create not more than in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes or hours in a days, They create a system that tomorrow, if you look at this, like some technologies like about corona, COVID spread, many websites, they're showing the statistics. How they are showing it? It's not the many months of development effort. You create a JSON file, that existing D3 will render the JSON file, and what you see is that in a HTML canvas, you see the result. It's a matter of 30 minutes for experienced developer. So what other piece of puzzle that, not only these technologies, so ability to perform the testing, yeah, especially the unit test. He or she should have a complete understanding of automated process. Yeah, that is the build tools we are talking about. Yeah, and one important thing is a security. You should understand the security. This is also not big deal. There are plenty of frameworks providing a built-in security, but you need to understand how those securities work, how to test it. Yeah. So other one is knowledge of algorithms. Of course, as I said that it's available in open source. So you should know certain algorithms so that you can speed up the development process. Okay. So what people are talking about full stack developers? Let us see what is a trend today developer community. So if you are not familiar with the Stack Overflow, please go and register in a Stack Overflow like GitHub, because somebody having no account in a Stack Overflow is not a programmer, is not a software engineer, is not a developer. He can be software engineer because they can be in a support roles, they can be in test roles, but as a programmer, as a developer, an account in a Stack Overflow makes you keep up to the speed and know what's happening. So Stack Overflow has a 50 million users. They have conducted a survey. They conduct this survey for every year. So I did a review survey for last 2017 review, and I took this latest report 2019 survey. 90,000 people participated in this survey. So if you see the results, they're asking a question: are you a full stack developer? Are you a backend developer, front end developer? 51.9%, which is the highest. They said that they are the full stack developers. So now you see 50%, 51.9% of respondents are the full stack developer. You can see the demand for a full stack developer. It is not just they are a full stack developer. They have such a job role. They are being paid. So they are the full stack developers. So, but when it comes to full stack web developer, their area is majorly on the web development. Yeah. So if you see the demographic representation, majority of the participation is from US. The second one is India, right? So think about it. The people sitting behind you, yeah, in another building in Bangalore or Hyderabad or Pune, Noida, they are the one who say that they are the full stack developers. So you also need to be a full stack developer to be in the pace. So if you see in other side, programming languages, web frameworks, and other frameworks and libraries, 67.8% of the 90,000 response, they said that they know JavaScript, 67.8%. 63.5% they said they know HTML. 54.4% they know SQL. Then 41.7% they know Python. 41.1% is using Java. So think about like when you are creating your profile target for your new job opportunity. So this is the area you need to focus on. Focus on Python, Java, SQL, JavaScript. So coming to the web frameworks, these are the front-end event handling area. jQuery is the most popular. I said that before React, Angular, everything was in a jQuery, but only Facebook and Google, these two companies are using React and Angular when they did not publish that to public. So knowledge in a jQuery is a mandatory. When knowledge in a jQuery, so it's a JavaScript and jQuery are kind of interrelated, right? So then the second most popular is React. And I tell you guys, there are no people with a React skill today. Many companies are hunting for people who has a React knowledge, but there are no people. Though still 31% say that they know React, but a lot of job opportunities for React. The next one is Angular or AngularJS. I see no difference between a React and Angular. Both are at the same level. In fact, Vue also trending. Yeah. So there's ASP.NET is already there. Yeah. So you see Java, jQuery, React, Angular, ASP.NET, Express, Spring, Vue, Django, Flask, Laravel, Ruby on Rails, Drupal. You don't need to know all. Maybe you start learning React and Angular. Pretty much you are covering at least 70% of the web requirement. So finally, other tools, it's a Node.js. You see this 50%, 49.9%. They said that they know Node.js. Node.js, if you use Node.js command line tool, or not for Node.js, but any programming language, for example, like Angular or even Node.js, npm start, npm install, that's it. It will install any software that you are looking for with a matter of one simple command. That is the power of today's technology. So finally wrapping up, yeah. If you want to limit this number of technologies, I would say that this is the smallest chunk of technology stack that you can start building your career. Right. I think with this, we are done with the presentation. Yeah, I open this session for questions.
Madam, Padmaja, madam.
So dear participants, so if you have any queries, you please post on chat box. Oh, dear participants, or else if you want to directly interact with the resource person, you can put your hand.
Yes, sir.
పద్మజ మేడం యూట్యూబ్ లో ఏదైనా వేసి ఉంటే అడగండి సార్ దగ్గర క్వరీస్
Queries ఏం లేవు, అందరూ
చాట్ బాక్స్.
లేదు సార్,
I
లేదు.
think nobody is having any query. As the resource person have explained very clearly.
Okay, thank you. I think
మేడం
Tell me, sir.
కల్పన మేడం చాట్ బాక్స్ చెక్ చేయండి, కొన్ని క్వరీస్ ఉంది చూడండి. జూమ్ చాట్ బాక్స్.
No, sir. Only.
Yes, sir. It is there, sir. It is there.
Harika is asking something.
It's only one question. Sir, is there any difference between full stack web developer and full stack developer? Sir,
That's
what is the difference, sir?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. We are talking about a full stack developer, full stack web developer. What is the difference? Yes, there is a difference. And if we look at today's session, we primarily focus on the full stack, the technologies which participate in a web application development part of it. But whereas if you see full stack in other side, when I do the research, full stack developers not only on the web aspect, but they are talking about TensorFlow. TensorFlow is Google's artificial, machine learning product. There are especially Python related pretty advanced libraries. So they are very familiar on it. So full stack developer is uh, is is a different role. Is a different role. Full stack developer not necessary to be a full stack web developer. Or many cases maybe people can claim themselves as a full stack web developer and a full stack developer. But I see a slight difference. Full stack web developer, their knowledge is majorly on web presentation layer. But full stack developer, along with this presentation layer, they do work on the backend systems like TensorFlow or Python algorithms, Java, pretty advanced libraries. They do.
Sir,
You can see
another
that
question, sir.
60% to 80% match. About 20% is a different.
Sir, another question. No.
Yes, please.
If a faculty is skilled in these areas, is there any opportunity without prior experience?
Undoubtedly. In today's case, people are not talking about experience. They're not talking about experience. You don't need to be a 10 years experienced guy to do something. Do you know React? Do you know how to code? That's what maximum they are looking for is. I saw a couple of job requirements from Flipkart yesterday when I was preparing content for this one. They're asking not the experiences. They are asking about your profile on GitHub. What free open source contribution you did? What is your profile on GitHub? What is your profile on Stack Overflow? So if you can start answering questions on Stack Overflow, build a profile, you don't need to have a prior experience.
Sir, another question, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, another question.
Yes.
Sir, can I know what is the use of the Django stack?
That is a web framework. It's a framework. When you are working on a Python, Python as a programming language doesn't provide you much flexibility for web enablement. But if you add a Django is a framework, your Python plus Django is something like you can create a web application pretty fast.
There is a question from
Another
YouTube.
question, sir. Okay. Sir, another question. Need best source for learning this skill set.
YouTube is the best source. You really follow some of the people. They are giving a very good lectures. But to me, if we really focus on technology, YouTube is a good place to start. But go and explore GitHub and go and participate in a Stack Overflow reviews. take a simple use case and try to implement. I tell you something, unlike a past, a decade back story, everything that you create, even you can create another Facebook using open source. You can be a Mark Zuckerberg just using these open sources. So there are there. So for this presentation, if we can pick up the each open source in a different area, start work on those. You can be very familiar, and you can become a
Sir, another question, sir.
yes, please.
How will be the demand for MERN stack in upcoming years?
MERN is the top, is a current trend, is a top. You say that React. Think about how many entry calls you get. It has a huge demand.
Another question.
Yes, please.
Which was the suitable database for Django stack, sir?
Again, that question back, please.
Which was the suitable database for Django stack?
Design role stack.
Django stack.
Django stack. Okay.
Yes.
Django stack is you see, it is one of the layers in a web stack. So it is very transparent. You don't need to interlink database with the framework. These frameworks with any of the database. So there is no direct link. So,
Another question, sir.
but if you go to the databases, I would say that knowledge, Postgres or MySQL is a mandatory, followed by MongoDB. MongoDB is a very essential skill. You should start with.
Next question, sir.
Yes, please.
What are the programming languages to know to work on full stack developer?
I said Python and Java. It's Python and Java.
Okay. Ma'am, any questions from YouTube, ma'am? Parmita, ma'am?
That
YouTube,
questions are posted by me only, ma'am.
Okay, I have seen. Any other? Srikanth, sir, please post the feedback form, sir. Srikanth, sir.
Madam, sir,
Already posted in
Okay.
WhatsApp group.
Posted feedback forms in WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Sir, Jagadishan,
So
sir.
participants,
In Zoom.
Ramesh, madam, shall I ask
Post
Ramesh
in Zoom,
to?
sir.
okay, sir.
Ramesh, madam,
Yes.
shall I ask Ramesh to speak for 2 minutes about his company?
Oh, definitely.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Go ahead, Ramesh. Then we can wind up the session.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone who is attending this session, I being a senior architect working in IT for 16 years, I have traveled through, US, Europe, Singapore, Malaysia, having working with pretty big companies to medium companies. So we have created a product with the view that many cases our tech community, our students in I would say like a freshers.
Hello. Sir, tell me, sir.
To provide you
I am not
guys,
reaching. I am not. Mail. Put the WhatsApp, sir.
Excuse me.
WhatsApp.
Hello.
I didn't receive. Yes.
So we created a platform called Resume Maker. So if we read the tagline, it says that empower talents. What we do in a Resume Maker is upcoming product is being in a testing. It is called guided resume. So what guided resume does is provides a professional resume templates with its intelligent system. With what I say that this many years of experience, we put such experience into built-in algorithms, which will provide you highly curated quality content. So this guided resume is not just a resume template, but what it does is that with it in intelligence, every step of a person who is aspiring for a job, right? They need to present themselves rightly in a resume. Before you go and attend any interview, what reaches the interviewer or employer is your resume. If your resume talks good, you get a call. If a resume doesn't show that, you may be expert, but you don't get a call, right? So there are common mistakes many people does. So we have created a system which will address and help you guys create a quality resume. I'm sure which will fetch you a job interview call. At the same time, this guided resume, what it does is that while you create a resume, it will guide you in a way that, okay, you are writing about your objective like this. This could be the possible interview question you will be asked. Yeah. And this is how you need to answer. You know, it's a big thing, right? So you are creating your resume. You don't know what the interviewer will ask you, but this it guides you while you create a resume, tells you that, hey, you'll be asked this question. Okay. These are the top answers. This is how you can answer. This is why interviewer is asking you this question. It gives you such tips. It gives you suggestions, and it will do the recommendation. Yeah. Then it has a lot of data set. So it's like starting from how to answer your interview questions. So all these coming as a YouTube learnings, and we will have it in our website coming soon. So you will have a lot of learning tutorials, especially not on the technology, but how to handle the interview. This is I know by my personal experience, I'm mentoring many students. They are very good in a technical, but they are not so good in answering interview questions. If you know how to handle interview, you get a job offer after first interview, right? So we help you there. And this is what we say, that it's a knowledge bank. We are creating this repository. We are working with the people from various streams. We have consultants working with us from US, Philippines, UK, and people from Kenya. They are writing such quality content. We do the web research. We are putting everything together to give you one stack of solution. Yeah. So what you need to do is go to https://www.resumemaker.co.in/login. You go and register there. Even you can log in with the Facebook. You just click on login with the Facebook account. You are registered. What you receive is you will receive a coupon. We will email you coupon. Use that coupon. This coupon, using this coupon, you can create your resume using a guided approach. So the guided approach is a pretty advanced tool. Of course, it is not available for free. But if you receive a coupon, you just use that and I'm sure you will secure a job on your first interview. We are very confident. We are creating such a quality system, which is a pretty advanced and intelligent. Yeah, please do register. I informed my team that any registrations come by today, starting from now till end of today, I asked them to, send a coupons. So you will get an email with the coupon code. So once we publish the beta version and the live for guided resume, you can use it, which is going to come in a month time. Yep. Thank you all for your participation. If you have any more questions, you can do, post those questions in an email. We will get back to you by email if something is not answered. Thank you.
Sir, one more last question, sir, from chat box.
Yep. Sure, please go ahead.
What was the difference between Django Stack and Ruby on Rails?
Ruby on Rails is a very, very popular, but India, we don't really see Ruby as such a great programming language, but it's a programming language. Rails is a framework. Yeah, Rails is a framework. If our participants know about Java and Spring, which is a very popular, right? Java is a programming language. Spring is a framework. Framework is nothing but it comes with a set of predefined functionalities, set of attributes. You can just configure and start using it. You don't need to code. For example, we work with Java applications. So you need to create a login using Facebook. I will show the ResumeMaker website, maybe for you guys a live demo. So this is the ResumeMaker website, right? And I go here, click on register. I click on sign in with Facebook. I click on login. So to handle sign in with Facebook, you need to go through OAuth, authentication, right? But if you use Spring framework, Spring security, there is a one function. One function says that authentication provider keep Facebook. That's it. You don't need to write even second line of the code. That is the power of frameworks, because they have already coded that and given you as a library, and it is an open source. So even for audience, you go to ResumeMaker site, you don't need to fill all this form. If you fill this form, you will receive more details. You use your email and mobile number, you will receive one more, there's a white paper, which is coming on what is after engineering, what is after MCA. A really insightful content coming there. But if you click on sign up with the Facebook, that's it. That's it. You are signed in. Your sign up process is complete. This can be achieved in a matter of few lines code using a framework. So Django is if your programming language is a Python, you use a Django. That's the difference.
Madam, any queries? Madam.
No, ma'am. No queries in the chat box.
Okay, now I call upon Dr. M. Kalpana Devi Garu to address, just to say a few words of session.
So thank you, ma'am. I am honored to have the opportunity to give vote of thanks on this occasion. So I, on behalf of Srinivasa Institute of Technology and Management Studies and the entire MCA department organizing team, I would like to extend a very hearty thanks to our management for their excellent support provided to conduct various webinars, speed programs, and FDP programs through online. I thank our principal, Dr. P. Ramesh Kumar sir, for his continuous encouragement. And I thank our Vice Principal and HOD of MCA Department, Dr. S. Srikanth sir, for his excellent guidance. I thank Jagadishan sir for his support. And it is my pleasure to thank today's resource person, Ramesh Vidata, for his fabulous speech on the topic full stack web developer. So thank you, sir. It is an excellent session, sir. Very informative and useful to all the faculty as well as students. So same thing is posting by the many participants in the chat box. And you clearly explained the entire web stack to build web applications and the different front-end, back-end build tools, web services, database technologies available on which which are the most popular ones, and in full stack technologies like LAMP, MERN, and MEN. So we have done a very good survey on role of full stack web developers, and we learned a lot, sir. So many things we have learned today. So this is very what you call glad to have you as a resource person. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Srikanth, sir.